Hi everyone, this is Ann Huffman. I'm going to use this tutorial to answer some questions that have come up in our group. First thing I want to do is to show you where to find what your version is and which edition you are working on, because I need to know that in order to give you good information back, because there are still about 4 different versions of Silhouette out there because people have not updated yet. Now, there's a difference in update and upgrade. Um, the basic Silhouette software that came with your cutter is what is being updated as they add new features, as they fix bugs in it. That's updating it, and each time they update it, it gives it a different version or release number, like this. Help about this is release version, which release and version is the same thing, 4.1 201. And that's important because if they do another update, it's probably going to be 4.1 point, I don't know, 223 or something. That is your version. This number, your version is your number. Your edition is going to be, did you upgrade from the basic free that came with the software to designer edition or designer plus or business edition? I have business edition, so I don't know if yours will say basic here or designer plus. But that is something that I need to know in order to be able to give you the right information. Now, some of you have mentioned about going to YouTube and you've updated to version 4.0 or 4.1, so your screen looks like mine. But this is just a recent update, so that's why you see so much in version 3 on YouTube. But whichever way it works on version 3.6 or 3.8 or 3.81, the feature or the process is still the same. The major difference is that the icons are just in different places. So whatever they're telling you in YouTube, 99% is going to be correct if it was correct for 3.6 or 3.8, and which I'm going to say that it is, because there's some great YouTube videos out there. So I just want to make sure that you go to help about Silhouette Studio and find out which release, which is the same as version, you're working on. This is the latest release here. So if your numbers does not say this, you don't have the newest release. Now, your other one is still working, obviously, but before you update it, back up your library, save your files. After some crashes in version 3.6, which is what I love, I began to save my files on OneDrive, which is like, I guess, Dropbox, and on an external hard drive. I no longer save files, very few files, to the software program itself. So I just want to go over that. That's very important when you're asking me a question. The next thing that I want to show you is over here in library. People have asked, like, where are my files? And so when you click on library, here's what you're seeing now is the top section is for the local user, which is you. And everything here is installed on your hard drive. The bottom part here is the cloud. And because I have business edition, the maximum number of storage space that Silhouette is going to give me is 5.1 gigabytes. Well, gosh, I have 100 times that, so I know I'll never be able to put my files on their cloud. But what Silhouette doesn't boldly let you know is that even giving that much space, they are only responsible for recovering what you bought from them. The rest of the files, if they do, they do. If they can't, oh well. but they will always recover whatever you purchase from the store. So just keep that part of it in mind. But if you come here and you just bought something from the store and you don't see it, make sure there's a green check here. Um, and you can click over here to sync it and it begins to turn. And so maybe that's what's happened, or maybe you're not even signed in over here because it will knock you out for no apparent reason. So you want to look and see first, am I signed in? Yes, I am. Is the green check over there? No, there's a red X. Well, hover over, move your mouse over, and it'll tell you what's going on with it. This is a manual sync, makes it do it manually. So that is what will happen with your files. Now, if you've done all of that and it still does not show your files, you can come over to Store and click on My Account. And you can look at my download history. And if you know, like when you did it or whatever, you could just click on that. The order number, it'll give all of them and recover order. And then it should start to re-download them again for you. Something else, I think all of my files have been downloaded, but from time to time you'll see something that says, I don't know, download failed. I forget what the message is, but it is not a picture, and you know by looking at it that it didn't download. Mine have, so unfortunately I can't show you that. But what you would do if if it shows up in here but it did not fully download, is right click on it and click retry download and see if that works. Now I have business edition, so I don't know if this applies to other editions, but I can click on several of them and then just right click on one of them and say retry download, and it will, download it again. Um, I don't know why it happens. I don't think they really know why it happens. But when I've called support, they've actually, and I've let them dial into my computer, I've watched them, and what they do is they go into my device manager and they make sure that my graphic, um, oh gosh, just lost the name for it. They make sure that my drivers are up to date with it, and then they come back in and they do a batch and they right click on it and retry download. And so that's what I do now. So that's something else that you can do. While I'm in here, I just want to show you that if you haven't created your own folders, it's very easy to do it. At this point, I do everything on the cloud from my email down. I do very little up here, because I just don't trust it. But if you want to add subfolders, just click on library or right click on it and say a new folder. Name it whatever you want it to be, and then just hit enter. And now you have that. And so I'm going to go back to download. And I know recent downloads, and I know that I saw some baby stuff there. Okay. So I'll click on it, and I'm just going to drag it, and I'm holding the mouse until you see the shaded bar over the word baby, and let go. Now I have baby in there. So that's how you organize it. If you want to go even further with your organization, right click on baby and say girl if you want to. I mean, whatever way you want to do it. And the same thing applies up here as well. The only rule is there are default folders that's called patterns, and these are all of the patterns that I have purchased from the store, or ones that I found on Google that were seamless. Um, and I was able to drag and drop them into patterns. But when I get up here for my user, it created a default folder for me. You cannot have the same identical name as silhouette. So when I got up here under my user design, I renamed mine patterns and shapes, because this is default. Recycle bin and patterns and fonts, that's a default that comes from Silhouette. But everything else, you can name it whatever you want to name it. And I think I have gone over everything in this particular field. Let's see. Click on recent download again. And then I have, I don't know, remember what my user designs were here. This was just something that I did a drag and drop from Windows Explorer into here, and I just haven't put them into anything else yet. But once you're into whichever one of these folders or subfolders, if you want to do a search, all you do is just click up here and type the name. I usually type a couple of letters, and like if I want to say dad, it'll just start showing me whatever has D and A. When I put the D in there, then I get more of the things that's there. I haven't tried this before, but let me just right click and, well, it does say show in folder. So I wonder, does that tell me which folder it was in? Nope, and it's gone. But I was going to look on it actually to look at properties so that I could tell exactly what it was. And this basically tells you that it's a regular cut. That's what it came out of, and the keywords. But you can add some information in there yourself by just clicking on that plus key. I'm just gonna hit cancel on this. But that's something that's really handy, and I think that where you probably want to use that the most. I do a lot of rhinestone, and what I would, oh, it even has it in there for me. Wow, I was going to say I would have put in here like what size stone it was. So that's what all of this is. I've shown you how to double check what's going on with your library so that you have it, so that you can find it. Um, with the I've shown you how to recover it, and with this, by clicking on account, this is recovering, where you can recover just one particular order that you place, or you can recover all of your downloaded designs. And then down here it just shows you your subscription keys, so that your license key for your different subscriptions. So that's what that is. So that covers that part of it. I'm not sure who it was I was supposed to help with it, but I'm going to go ahead and sign off on this one and get started helping the other ladies. So if you have any questions, be sure and post them.